Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast Five, which is the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we still keep it to 5 minutes because it wouldn't be the Fast Five if we didn't. But we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, the sleeper story, which is one that's maybe not getting the attention that it deserves, the most remarkable story, and our favourite story. So let's rip into it. What was the biggest story of the week for you?
Too much to choose from this week, but I'll have to go with financial markets. The big news was US Federal Reserve lifting interest rates by 75 basis points, the most in nearly 30 years. Massive ramifications around the world. The ASX tumbled. It's now trading at levels last seen in late 2020. Cryptos have fallen hard. In fact, the viability of some digital currencies is now in question, and some exchanges suspended redemptions this week. The Aussie dollar fell back below 69 US cents. Bond yields hit 3 or 4 years highs, and people still don't want them. Markets are now in bear territory. That's down 20% from their peaks. Massive week in financial markets.
The energy crisis kind of came to a bit of a head this week. For weeks, we've had warnings of mega price rises as coal and gas prices soar. Now there's generators running below capacity due to technical and supply problems, just as demand really spikes with a cold snap. The headlines this week were all about the risk of blackouts. New South Wales and Queensland residents were told to conserve energy. Then the remarkable part of it, the Australian energy market operator suspended the electricity spot market for most of the country, basically coming in to run the system. Power companies want to know how long this is going to last. One coal company is blaming it on the rush to get rid of coal. There's a lot in it. It gets pretty complicated, but just goes to that basic requirement of being able to get power when you flick the switch.
Yep, big story.
All right, most remarkable story. I've got a good one for this. I reckon it's a cracker because we've been talking about Bubs Australia, which makes baby formula for a while. Remarkable development this week. Bit of background, the US had a baby formula crisis. A major production had a contamination scare. 4 babies died, sparked a major shortage. The call went out for international suppliers. Little Aussie company Bubs put up its hand. President Joe Biden tweeted about it. The FDA approved it. Away they went. Deals with supermarket chains followed, then a Walmart distribution deal. The scale of the story is incredible. The US government chartering 747s to fly Bubs formula to the States. The thing I find most remarkable, though, is that a little Australian company was able to move so quickly, scale up production, meet the demand, and now its share price is up around 80% or so in a month.
Pretty remarkable, that one. Look, the most remarkable story for me is the Fair Work decision to lift the minimum wage by 5.2%. Hasn't happened since 2006, that amount anyway. And arguably, the economy's not even in a position to afford it. Now, look, around 184,000 workers will get an extra $40 a week. Good on them. About 2.5 million workers covered by the Modern Award will get an extra 4.6%. I'm not against low-paid workers getting a pay rise. They deserve 5%. What's remarkable is that the Fair Work Commission, at a time when inflation is heading towards 7% and interest rates are rising, is courageous enough to give such an increase. Remarkable, and I dare say wouldn't have happened under a coalition government.
Yeah, it is a remarkable story, that one. The sleeper story, what was it for you this week, Sean?
It's about BHP wanting to close Australia's largest thermal coal mine 15 years before the coal runs out. Why is it remarkable? It's remarkable because BHP is making a sensible environmental decision and passing the problem of how to power the state of New South Wales back to the government, and that's where it should be. It's closing this Mount Arthur coal mine in the Hunter Valley well ahead of its use-by date. The New South Wales government now has to decide whether to actually keep operating it. BHP has made it clear it takes its net zero promise seriously. Now the New South Wales government has to decide if it does.
Yeah, it's a good one. A bit of an unusual sleeper story for me this week. It was a major event that kind of passed by without a lot of attention. Internet Explorer, which was for a long time the most popular web browser around, reached its use-by date. A year ago, Microsoft said that the end would come for Internet Explorer on June 15, 2022. It was too old, too slow, not secure enough. It's got a newer browser called Edge from Microsoft. I think it's a good sleeper story because it shows just how quickly the tech space innovates and moves on. In the 2000s, Internet Explorer had market share above 90%. Now Google Chrome's the big browser with 65% market share. Internet Explorer is no more. And the successor, Edge, has just 4% of the browser market. It's incredible, and it didn't get much attention this week.
No, I'd forgotten about Internet Explorer, but there you go.
I think most people had. All right, favourite story this week, Sean. For me, a short one. Some really impressive coordination between the New South Wales Liberal government and the Victorian Labor government this week. The winners are kids and families. From 2025 in Victoria and 2030 in New South Wales, kids are going to have access to a year of free preschool. That's 5 days a week of play-based learning rather than the 1 or 2 days that many kids currently do. It'll benefit the kids because they're starting earlier. It's such a crucial time for development, and it will actually probably help to catch kids that aren't developing as quickly as they should be or haven't had the opportunity to do so. It's going to benefit parents, in particular mums, giving them opportunities to return to work, and that's obviously going to help the economy as well. You put it all together, I think this is a cracking story.
It is a cracking story. Look, we're out of time. I'm going to tell you my favourite story very quickly. It's the Julius Baer Group's 2022 Global Wealth and Lifestyle Report. Basically, it shows the most expensive city to live when you're really, really, really ultra mega rich. It's my favourite story because what a ridiculous concept. I mean, when you're really rich, who cares? Shanghai came in at number 1, then London, Taipei, Hong Kong, Singapore, Monaco, Zurich, Tokyo, and number 9 was Sydney and then Paris. They look at really important stuff. Cost of residential property, I get that. Cars, bikes, airfares, business schools, designer handbags, shoes, suits, watches, and my favourite, the cost of hiring a lawyer. Apparently that's gone through the roof. My favourite story of the week.
Yeah, there we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed.